It itches. So we're gonna do a trade recap since I traded from my phone today. Um, so basically, coming into the morning, we were actually bearish, just because we were, disrespecting, or we were respecting bearish PD arrays. But after the open, I definitely changed my bias, seeing that all the LR was resting above. Um, so literally right off the open, I flipped my bias after we saw this Drake candle to the upside. Um, we had this 5 minute gap that we made, which was first presented fair value gap. We tapped into first presented fair value gap. We actually didn't inverse a gap, but we did get a CISD here. Um, did get this CISD, and ES also inversed a 1 minute gap that we had. There's probably a 30-second here, but it's like $100 a month to get the 30-second chart. I'm not doing that. So we had draws higher on the hourly chart, and this is where I made a mistake at. We had London highs, we also had Asia highs right there, and then we had this ERL draw resting higher. Not gonna lie, where I made my mistake is I got extremely greedy and extremely horny and targeted ERL, which was definitely my mistake. We had a very good entry here. Definitely shouldn't have been targeting that. We should have just simply took this 1-to-1 trade, 1.3R right there. Would have been a perfect setup. Would have been done for the day there. But since we were targeting ERL, obviously ERL does not get hit. After we took out this draw right here, we did go break even. We went break even after that, and then obviously we get stopped out. I was very upset with myself because it was a psychological issue, because yesterday, as you guys know, we had this huge trade right here. I delete my charts every day, but I think it was somewhere, I know we had triple equal highs resting on this 4 hour, and it's right here. So we had triple equal highs at this 4 hour, and we actually ended up catching the longs up to there, but probably somewhere around here. Ended up catching the longs, and I wanted to hold until this, but I ended up closing after we took out this draw up here, and it ended up running. That was like an $800 move that I didn't miss out on it, but I just took my profit at take profit 1, and psychologically it affected me moving forward into today, where I tried to catch another huge trade, which obviously it came back on me. So I'm upset with myself that I did that, but I'm just gonna journal it and just keep it in my bank. But so we took that trade, got stopped out at break even. Obviously we took out this London high draw, also had SMT at London highs right there with ES, because ES was about right here. We had SMT. You guys know what SMT is. Then I checked the 15-minute chart to see if we had any, if we were gonna short. I definitely didn't want to be shorting against the 15-minute gap. Now we had this 15-minute gap right here, but it was so tiny. It was so tiny. I wasn't too worried about us rejecting off of this 15-minute gap. But there was nevertheless a gap there. Not to mention we also had pretty easy sell side draw right here at this 945 low, and then we also had 930 lows as a good draw as well, and then we also had just low of day resting right here. So after we got this inverse on the 5-minute chart with some really great displacement, we just simply took a short. Stop loss at the high of that 5-minute bar right there. Since I got greedy on the first trade, I definitely didn't want to make the same mistake again and get greedy, so I simply just targeted this 1R right here, targeting this 945 low. Now we could have definitely obviously left the runner down to here, but me leaving a runner is not part of my system, so I simply took profit at this 1R, which is what I should have did on this first trade. But obviously, as you guys can see, we ended up taking out all the draws, and we are continuing our initial bias what we anticipated to happen was us overall being bearish on the day. So we did leave, kind of a relative equal high here, but we definitely took out that London high draw. For the rest of the day, I think we're going to continue lower down to this 4-hour fair value gap, but obviously we're done for the day. There's a gap right there as well. But nevertheless, it was a good trade. Last month we lost about $600, and so far in the first 2 trades that I've taken in March, we're already 1 trade away from being break even again. So just going to continue doing what I do, trying not to overcomplicate it. After journaling and forward testing, I've noticed that for the first 2 weeks of the month I'll be extremely solid in my trading, and then moving on into week 3 and week 4 of the month, then my brain goes to complete mush, and then I start making mistakes. So this month I'm gonna journal every single day and try to keep just try to stay locked in on everything. Right now, I don't have any funded accounts. It doesn't make sense for me to just waste money on a funded account when, after I get funded in 2 weeks, 'cause I can get funded easily. It's just moving forward past that funded stage is, where my mind starts to go a little bit crazy. So as of right now, we're just going to focus on the personal account for whenever the time feels right, and then we'll move on to getting some accounts, because genuinely I don't need money desperately. So we're just going to focus on refining our trading and just continue to be perfect. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.